Hey, what's up, everybody? I hope you're having a good day. My name is Jeremy, and I've decided to come back on YouTube to document my ongoing journey of mastering social skills and communication. And today, I wanted to talk to you about my story with, with social skills. For years, I've been fascinated by the power of communication and charisma, how people can just walk into a room and instantly make people feel heard and feel special. And all my life, I've wanted to express myself and make connections, but I would hesitate and overthink every decision. And funny enough, my first video on here, this was for a school project that I had to do. My first video on here, if you go to my YouTube channel, my first video was about the importance of communication skills. The reason why I chose that topic was because it was one skill that I wanted to use to start conversations, make connections, and actually just make conversations engaging. Like communication skills has always been something that I've always admired and wanted to get better at ever since I was young. And I'm just amazed how a skill like communication can help you land your dream job, can help you get promoted, help you make friends, can impact the world just by your words, can really move people, inspire people, and even kickstart a romantic relationship. And overall, I'm just amazed how the ability just to be present and the ability to speak well can just make a whole make a big difference in someone's life, and can how speaking well can inspire people and move people. Well, I aspire to be at that level, and I want to take you along for the ride. And this this channel will be where I will share everything. Excuse me, I'm just looking at my notes here. Is where I will share everything I learn about communicating, connect with people, building confidence, and creating meaningful relationships. My hope is that throughout this journey that I'm currently in, I'm still growing, I'm still learning. I can show you that it's absolutely possible to transform the way you communicate and carry yourself. This is why I called this is why I call this channel extraordinaire, because it's based on my belief that that anybody can change their lives and evolve into someone capable of achieving their dreams. Now let's take a little journey here. Let's take a little journey back to little old Jeremy. How did my story with social skills and communication start? Well, if the title wasn't obvious enough, I was the shy and quiet kid growing up. It's not like I didn't have any friends growing up, but I mostly kept to myself, and I didn't have the confidence or the willingness to express myself. And for all my introverts out there, you know the story. When you're quiet and you keep to yourself and you daydream just like me, people will notice. And when they do notice, they won't shut up about it. You know that very well. When you're quiet, when you're in the corner, they won't keep it to themselves. And that happened to me. Now, here's the thing. I'm sure I don't think you if you were a shy and quiet kid, I'm not sure if you have had the experience I've had, but the kids in my schools, they would say things that I don't think you have ever heard before. It's quite different. It's quite, very creative, very innovative. They would ask questions like, "Why are you so quiet?" Creative, right? We introverts never heard that before, right? Why are you so quiet? You never talk much. And when I would try to talk a little bit, try to show my personality, wow, that's the first time I ever heard you speak this much, you know. Um, and it's just crazy. It's 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 just it bothered me, because it felt like I felt like it was no one's business to ask why I was quiet or to wonder why I was quiet. But deep down, I was very insecure. I had low confidence in myself, in my speaking ability. My voice would my voice would jumble, and my words would stumble, and I wouldn't be able to speak full sentences clearly. And I didn't want to come off as cringe, or didn't want to say something out of line that would make people run away from me. I just kept myself because I wanted to hide myself from the embarrassment. And I wanted to speak up. I wanted to be able to be amongst the friend groups that I saw, and just be able to joke freely, and to be able to talk and to voice my opinion and to just be myself. But I was always in my head creating fake scenarios of what would happen. I would hold back. I would hold myself back and say, I don't know if I should say that, because if I say this, they must give me a stink face. Like, what the hell did you just say? Things like that. That's like one of the reasons why I stayed quiet, was because I had low confidence. I didn't believe my speaking ability. My words were jumble, and I just felt trapped in my own bubble. And the truth is, my lack of confidence really it made me miss out on so many chances to actually connect with people. The more I held back, the more frustrated I felt myself. I knew that it somewhere I knew deep down that it took just one chance, one brave move of mine to just really just be myself and express myself. But I couldn't do it, and it really costed me for a few years. And all as the years went by, I started to notice the effects that it had. The effects were, I didn't have the friendships that I've dreamed about. I had friends, but like, just in terms of like making new friends, in terms of like just starting new conversations to make new friends, I didn't really have it in me unless it was in a group or something like that. Well, what else? I didn't have many connections. I barely went to parties or sleepovers, and for I'm sure for most of you out there, because of you being quiet and being a little shy growing up, you know I didn't have a girlfriend, even though I wanted to experience love in school. I always wanted to have that romantic connection. Overall, I wanted to be fully myself and to be able to have people gravitate towards me and to connect with people. But instead, I was in the sidelines, just watching everybody laugh, hug, create memories. And I would observe my classmates talking about something interesting. And I would say, damn, I wish I was a part of that. I wish I was a part of that. I wish that I could laugh with them. Or if I saw, a woman who looked beautiful across from me, I would, my heart would urge me to go talk to her because she's so beautiful, and I just want to say something, but my brain would just put me on a leash, like it would just hold me back, like no, I don't know if that's worth it. And when I'll go to public places, like for example, like maybe about a few years ago, I was at a social event, like a musical event. I was by myself. I was attempting to start a conversation, and I just found myself being in my head, creating fake scenarios, and just really just struggling to really start a conversation without judging myself. I would just see people around me, couples holding hands, um, hear people say, "Oh, it's so good to see you," or hugging them, and it hurted me because I was a part of that. And I would just see people around me owning the room and just speaking with confidence, and it really it really lit a spark in me. It really did. And one day I just said I had enough. Like I had enough. This has gone on for too long. I don't know how many more years I'm gonna have to put up with myself of not being able to make new friends, to talk to that woman that you always wanted to talk to, or just put myself out there and just make a name for myself. I would ask myself, how many more years without confidence? How many more years without be myself? And I definitely did not want to be 30. I said it to myself that I did not want to be 30 years old and not have friends or the confidence and the speaking ability to like to be social and to really like gravitate, really captivate people, because that's what I want to do. I didn't want to be 30 so struggling, you know? And I know for sure that I didn't want to be known as a quiet one who never spoke. Even if I was quiet, even if I became confident and I was still a little quiet due to like just choice, just to have my own personal peace. I didn't want to be known as that guy that just never spoke and never like really no one really know who he was, and no one really remembered him. So one day I just had enough, and day by day I started to put myself out there, and I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't really know if what I attempted to do to improve my confidence was going to work. Did I know that it was going to work? No, I did not know. But slowly but surely, I started to put myself out there. I started to, what did I do? What did I put in my notes here? Um, I, rose my hand in class. I contributed to a conversation. I practiced asking people for directions, just like simple things like that. I went to Reddit and stuff like that to get some ideas of how to improve your social skills, improve your confidence, little things like that. And at the time, you might think that those things don't add up. Like it can do a big difference. Like the more you do these small things, like the next time you do them, you just feel less pressure, you feel less stress because, well, I did this last time and it wouldn't be that bad again. So you just continue just loving it. You just continue leveling yourself up. And I hesitated a lot. I procrastinated and I steered off course plenty of times, but the goal never left my mind. I wanted to become confident. I wanted to improve my speaking ability. I wanted to become more funny. I wanted to be able to make someone um, feel special due to my charisma, things like that. Goals like that never left my mind. And more, every small step led to something bigger. And I wanted to give you a few examples of some of the things that I've done, things that I really feel proud of that I've done throughout these past few years that really just made a difference. Now, one of the first big examples was me applying for a job that required me to talk to customers. And for an introvert, that's like your worst nightmare. That's your worst nightmare, just to talk to people at your job, because if you mess up, they're going to get mad at you and you feel like your whole world's ending. But I knew that if I wanted to grow, I had to, I had to, I had to do things that scared me. I had to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And this was the chance to practice communicating and just to improve my skills. So I took that chance. I was scared, but I took that chance. And this job that I applied um, to say that it made a difference in my overall confidence and me talking to people, like, it's an understatement. Like, actions speak louder than words. This job really changed, like, almost my life, because it helped me just I took the opportunity in myself to start conversations with customers while we wait, for their order. To give you a hint, my pleasure, just to give you a little hint of what that job is, but it gave me the chance to really connect with customers and to practice starting conversations, and it really proved my confidence because it put me out, in the front. Basically, I'm one of the faces of the company. I'm representing the company, so I have to face customers, and it really made a difference. And I found myself, really being really good and friendly with a lot of the coworkers. I'm not gonna say I'm like the most popular worker at like my local, place, but I've always received like highs and, oh, it's good to see you. And when I came back from my surgery, people were asking like my coworkers, like, where was I? And that made a really big difference. Like, I was surprised, and I'm really glad that I took that I took that chance myself. Another example. Let's see here. I'm just scrolling through my notes, but one day I won't have to do much of this anymore. But um, another example is approaching an elderly couple at my local park. So this is a really cool story. This is like from, like, I think last year, and I was at a park with my brother. We were chilling at the park. It was a nice sunny day. Open field, lots of grass, a big pond. We were just sitting at the bench, and I remember seeing this elderly couple. They were just taking pictures, and you know, there was just something in me that told me to approach them. Like, you know, They look like they can be cool people. Just approach them. And I didn't really think much of it. I mean, of course, I hesitated a little bit, but something in me just compelled me to approach them. And I approached them saying, "Hey, that's a cool looking camera." I think I said something along those lines, and it just started a nice conversation. I just started a nice conversation with them, and it turns out that they were like traveling. They've been traveling. They've been taking pictures of birds, and they've traveled to South America and all these beautiful countries. And it was really nice to get to know them because when you meet people, you just meet a whole new other world. You're just traveling mentally with them, and it's really cool just to see and hear other people's perspectives. It's just really cool, and that was a great time. And they were really friendly. They were really cool, and I hope to see them again. Another example is approaching a lady at my local bookstore. A little older lady, she looked beautiful and such, and I wanted to just improve my confidence a little bit. Um, I hesitated. I didn't really know what to do, but I went for it. And this was like years ago, like maybe like 3 to 4 years ago. And I initiated conversation to her. I initiated conversation about the environment at the time. It was raining at the time, and it just kickstarted a friendship that I still have to this day. And the reason why I'm still talking to this friend is because I started that conversation, and that means something to me. That means something to me that what like all these like friendships that I start. Just the thought of friendship starting and people just being happy to see me just by just by the simple action of me just starting something and starting a conversation. Just that's like social magic to me. That's just like social magic, just to kickstart something special because you started a conversation, you initiated the conversation. That's just so much magic to me. And as you can see, those actions were a result of me just trying. And I kept searching, I kept showing up, and I ended up finding chances and opportunities where I could practice my social skills, and I learned how to better approach strangers, hold conversations that felt fun, and most importantly, I started to become comfortable in my own skin. And you might be asking, like, since you've been practicing showing up for yourself and putting yourself out there, where do you stand? Well, right now, I would say compared to like maybe 5 years ago or even 10 years ago, I feel a lot more confident now. I found myself hesitating, a little less. I will still hesitate, from time to time. Of course, that's like completely normal. But compared to like 5 years ago, starting a conversation isn't as bad, isn't as terrible as it once was to me because it was like a big mountain like 5 years ago. But right now it's like, it's okay. Like a little bit of hesitation, but at the end, I still feel great because after doing all these reps of approaching people, it starts to feel invigorating, you know. And I would, right now, I would offer more in my answers. I st- I would start conversations. I've started conversations with people at my cafe. I've started conversations with people at the local train station. This job that I mentioned previously has really helped me become more confident. I've built a good reputation with the guests and customers, and really, I'm just starting to really come into my own skin, and I feel really really great about it. Um, and I still have some type of way to go. Um, you know, I still have a long way to go. I'm still working on improving more of my confidence. I'm working on hopefully making new friends, not just like a whole lot of friends, but just a good. Okay, sorry, folks. My storage was full, so I had to delete some folders and such. But okay, back to the program. So, as I was saying, I'm not claiming to have it all figured out. I still have it. I still have a long way to go. I'm so very much on my journey, but I've really grown a lot, and I can really just thank myself and to be proud of myself for just taking a chance all those years ago of starting that journey, because there is no perfect start. There is no perfect start. Um, what matters is that you just start, and I'm really good at I did that because all those small reps really made a difference. And I can still hesitate. I can still go on periods without practicing, but all those times I've approached, complimented somebody, or just started a conversation, even if it was like for like 15 seconds, all those small reps, like it really made a difference. It feels less scary. And I just want to say this for all my introverts and for the people that are like quiet. If you keep showing up, if you keep um, giving yourself grace, and you just keep learning and don't give up. I know that sounds a little cookie cutter, but I really mean that. Um, you will find your way. You'll find your way, and you'll become that confident person that you've always wanted to be. And I believe that anybody can who takes a chance in themselves can build real relationships and live fully. So that's my story. But so let's go to expectations. Expectations. So what can you expect from this channel? Well, I hope that as I make these videos, you get to see my evolution and growth in speaking. I want to be able to use these videos no matter what topic I'm talking about. I want to use them as a way to improve my speaking ability, my articulation, my explaining, and my storytelling, things like that. Just just a platform to improve my speaking. And I don't want you the person that you're viewing right now, me in my nice jacket, um, the person you're viewing right now and listening to, I don't want you to see me as that same person like about like 30 or like 20 to 30 videos from now in terms of speaking and overall communication imposter. I just want to be a step above that, every video that I make. And I hope these videos that I make can, if you follow along, I hope that it can inspire you and help you realize that it is very much possible to transform the way you communicate. And And yeah, that's one of them. And I would also like to evolve to the point where I don't need to read notes as much. As you can see, if it wasn't obvious enough, I mean, reading off my notes. I mean, I know that's normal, but okay, again, I'm sorry that it keep cutting off. Just a storage issue, but anyways, just to make things short and sweet. Evolve to the point where I will not read from my notes much and speak more off the dome. I would really love to develop that ability more into the future. And on this channel, mainly I'm going to talk about my experiences and thoughts about anything social skills related, anything communication, basically. If there's something that I need to get off my chest, I'll post it. I will share stories, both success and failures, on many different things like approaching, having conversations, showing charisma, and forming relationships. If I've gained a good exposure in it, then I'll share that. And somewhere along the way, when I've gained a better understanding and been exposed to more social situations, honestly, I would love to help people who are introverts that may have started their journey of putting themselves out there, um, but are a little stuck. And if they want to make new friends, find love, be a more confident speaker or talker, I absolutely don't mind sharing my knowledge and helping others. But that's something that I can discuss further down the line, you know. And also for practice, I would, yeah, like I said previously, I'm just reading off from my notes, but I love, I would, I would, I will post videos of myself speaking about any topic that I'm interested in, and like, for example, like motivational videos, just to kind of get some practice in my speaking ability, and it will be another way to not only inspire you but myself. If I see videos of myself like being like just giving some encouragement or motivation, then it will just keep me motivated. It will keep me inspired. So, in conclusion, if you're someone who is still growing in their social skills and is a bit unsure, I hope this channel reminds you that you are not alone. You're not alone. Trust me. There's people out there who may think that they have it all figured out, but they don't, and that's okay. We're all we're all realistically still trying to figure life out. You know, and there's millions of people around the world that struggle speaking, making new friends, finding a partner, and just being themselves. And if you feel that way, just like I have been and still kind of am, um, please know that you're not alone. Please, there's people out there just like you, and you are not any less than them. And you you are not alone. And I'm still unsure myself. There's still so much to discover and learn, but I hope my journey can be an example of the impossible being possible. Your dreams can come true if you just try. And I know that life can be tough sometimes and the future is uncertain, but don't let that define you. If you're a human being and you see other people um, become great, you can become great as well. And if they can do it, you and I can do it. So anything is possible, and you can do it. So that's basically it. Subscribe if you're on a similar journey. Comment where you're from. Say where you're from, your social skills, your social goals, your social skills goals, and your biggest struggle right now. This may or may not get comments, but that's okay. That is what it is. But Anyways, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you.